thrilling, as always, to be a part of the ultimate weekend of college lacrosse. And as we make the path here, recognizing that we had our bumps there in April, and but really grateful for a team that is continuing to believe, and maybe there are reasons not to believe, but continue to believe, whether it was seasonal belief or within game. Certainly during that Hopkins game where we give up 4 goals in the first 6 minutes, but there was something that was really tangible there. And then the ferocity on the play, on the field, as you witnessed, and certainly our 10-man ride, giving us those extra possessions. And so we're having a lot of fun here, and I want to give a lot of credit to our 3 captains, Mitch Whalen, Connor Schellenberger, and Cole Kastner, for continuing to keep this team really tight. I've coached a team or two that's more talented, but man, this thing, we're indomitable right now. I really love our cohesiveness. Hit me.
All right, thank you, Coach. Thank you to everybody who's raised their hand already. We'll try and get to this group of 9 in the press conference. Appreciate all the popularity for Coach Tiffany here. We'll start things off with Jeff.
Hey, Lars, teams tend to evolve over the course of a season. How is Virginia different from the way it was on March 16th when you played in College Park, and how has Maryland changed since then?
Yeah, Maryland is playing at a much higher level. When we played them, they were coming off an overtime win over Brown University, and then after our game, I know they struggled and lost their first Big Ten game. And boy, since then, it's a team that keeps getting better and better, especially offensively, and so we're seeing them really move the ball well, get good looks, and get after you both 66 and in the unsettled. For us, it's what the improvements we're seeing in a lot of different ways. Certainly our team defense, though we've had our ups and downs, and I think what we really are different right now is better decision making. We want to be the fast, aggressive, Native American influenced team, but we also have to know how valuable possession is, and every coach says that in every sport. But certainly in playoff time in the month of May, when I'm watching how Maryland beat Duke. Maryland had the ball the entire second half, it felt like, right? You just wear down the opposing defenses, especially as the heat and humidity goes up. So Ben Ware being even more impactful, but also being intelligent. Get the ball to Schellenberger. Don't try to make heroic plays.
All right, we'll go over to Mike.
Morning, Coach. As you went back and looked at the last game, the way Kyle played when you put him in, what did you like, and what is your thought process on who will be in the cage Saturday?
It's a great question. Well, I loved how Kyle came in and made the saves that you really need your goalie to make. The 13, 14-yard shot on the run, Kyle ate those up when Hopkins took those shots on him. He missed a couple, but of course when you give Degnan his hands free, or you give inside finishers with no, but he made the saves that you really need and rely upon a goalie to make. And it just calmed the defense down. There's a symbiotic relationship between the defense and the goalie. What shots can we give up? How do we want this possession to end? We're not going to go out there and take the ball away every time, though Chase Yeager seems like he thinks we can. But it's like, okay, what shots do we give up? And when Kyle came in and made those couple saves on shots that we want to be able to give up, it just calmed everything down, and it helped us, the entire defense, play better. As I alluded to on Sunday in the post-game press conference, we only have 1 day of really intense practice this week. So in terms of our data that we put in and the metrics as we measure our depth chart, it'll be difficult for a lot, for a lot more input to make a new decision. So we're going to talk about it as a staff a lot. Matt Nunes has been our starter since he arrived here, and Kyle Morris has never started an NCAA tournament game, but he does have some good experience now. So we got to go back and forth. We're going to look at it, the one practice that we'll have Wednesday, and then we'll make a decision after that.
Is there an advantage to goalies to having seen shooters before, like Matt saw Maryland's guys seen you? Is there an advantage there in terms of knowing what's coming?
It's hard to tell, right? Like, who gets the better advantage, the shooter or the goalkeeper when they've seen each other before? And some goalies love to have a shooter scouting report, where others are like, look, if I start guessing and anticipating, then I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing as of reading and reacting. I might hedge towards the shooter. I think the shooter, good goalies may have a little bit more a tell that, and again, there's only one guy you have to focus on, one goalie, whereas a goalie may have to study a bunch of different shooters. So I think for the shooters, if they've seen a goalie before, it helps. Now, we've played Notre Dame twice, and it didn't help us the second time we played Entenmann, now did it?
Fair enough. Thanks, Coach.
All right, we'll go over to Ann Parker Coleman.
Hey, Coach, thank you. You guys had, of course, already snapped that losing streak, but this game, just in the way that it was won and in the manner in which you won, I mean, did it feel like a game that maybe changes belief in the locker room and just team confidence?
Having not won an overtime game, I guess apparently in 5 years, as I learned after the game, and not that we've lost a ton of overtime games, but anytime you win an overtime, boy, that's an extra juice of confidence now, isn't it? And then certainly when you're losing most of the game to win the game, that can help. But now moving forward, how do we propel from this? Hopefully we're not looking back on this year saying, wow, that was an incredible quarterfinal win. That was the peak of the season. And we maxed out. We gutted it out and an incredible victory, an incredible setting. But yeah, just as your question's alluding, can this help propel and build more confidence? It's interesting. We're playing a team that has won 2 games in a row in the NCAA tournament, but had also lost a couple games before the NCAA tournament, just like us. We'd lost 4. We'd lost even more. And so it's like, to be in the Final Four, of course you've won at least 2 games. And is that enough? Is the confidence there? And then you look at both teams too, like, I think if you're a fourth year, if you're a senior, you've won 9 NCAA tournament games each. So we're kind of tied there too. And so it's an interesting matchup. But for us, it's it's the type of the drama that we experienced, the big crowd, raucous, the band. It's definitely a good preparation as we get ready to play in front of in an NFL stadium in front of 35,000 people.
All right, we'll go to Zach.
Hey, Coach. Connor and Ajax Zapatello have had a number of battles over the years. How do you anticipate that matchup going on Saturday, and how important is it for Connor to find unique ways to either switch that matchup or find unique ways to beat Ajax?
Yeah, I know. You've got 2 options there. 1, can you switch it? And 2, can you win it? I like option 1. Can we switch it? Can we avoid it? That's going to be King Kong versus Godzilla type battle. Now, fortunately, McCabe Millen has stepped up, and he's playing at a higher level. So if McCabe can continue to create offense and generate slides, that takes a little bit of pressure off of Connor. But yeah, can Connor get rid of Ajax? What I'm really impressed with Maryland's defense is how they get through picks. They keep matchups. They don't want to switch. Like we have Cole Castor. Cole Castor, when he's assigned a matchup, we don't like it if he gets picked off. Though that happened a few times with Jacob Angelis when we were playing Hopkins on Sunday. Can we set picks that sneak up on Ajax? But again, this defense, they're just as good about it as anybody at keeping that matchup. Or are there other ways to get that matchup changed? The beautiful thing about Connor, he's not out there to get his own. Yes, he won the game against Hopkins by winning his matchup, but that's not his primary choice. So Ajax can be on him, and Connor doesn't beat him, but Connor's still able to do what he wants to do with his feeding.
All right, we'll go to Hayden.
Hey, Coach. Hayden Hunley streaking the lawn. With Luke Wehrman at the face-off, how important is it to get a quick start and not go down early like he did versus Hopkins last time?
Yeah, and we know we're facing a different Luke Wehrman. The first time we played Luke, he had not played against Brown the weekend before. And so we were playing against an incredible face-off specialist who was coming back from injury. Watching him the last few weeks, he looks like he's 100% healthy. What he's doing, dominating at the face-off against in both the NCAA tournament games. Anthony Gobriel and Thomas Colucci did really well the first time we played Maryland and kept it close to 50-50. And then our wing play was critical. Ben Ware continues to do it. I think he had 5 ground balls the first time we played Maryland. He our wings, everyone's going to have to be involved because Luke Wehrman is a problem for opponents. He is playing at such a high level. So we've got to take our game to the next level because the Luke Wehrman we saw 2 months ago is different today.
I will go to Michael.
Hi, Lars. Pretty rough day for Peyton Cormier on Sunday. Almost reminded me of, for a while, of his performance at Richmond earlier this year. What do you tell him after a game like that? Does anything change, or do you just trust that it was an off day?
Yeah, it's the confidence is sky high when it comes to feeding Peyton Cormier the ball, and give him credit for sticking that one, to make it 10-9 from a little bit outside of his range, to tell you the truth, in my opinion. He just kept finding himself too close to the goal line extended, too close to the goal. I don't know why he kept drifting too low. So if he did catch the ball, he had no angle or very little angle to score. Now we know he can score with almost no angle, but yeah, it was just a weird day for Peyton. After the game, I said, "Boy, Schellenberger bailed you out there. We live to fight another day." Because Schellenberger doesn't want to be the scorer. He wants to feed that ball to Peyton, but he knew in the circumstances he had to just go win it himself. But yeah, it's no less confidence in Peyton, and that's what we talked about with the team. Like, hey, we're going to have those days, good days, bad days. Don't let one bad day or two bad games define us. Look at all the body of work before that. You have a bad game, be mentally stronger. Believe in self, believe in team. It happens. And move on to that next one. I don't have to worry about that with Peyton. There's nobody more present on game day. He'll be back. Now the challenge will be, can he get open? Will Maryland leave him? Will they try to slide around him? That'll be. But if Peyton gets his chances, he's not going 1 for 11 again.
All right, we'll go to Xander.
Hey, Coach, Xander T-Lock, Cavalier Daily. I know you guys really want to come out and be aggressive, and in that Hopkins game, there were some questionable calls there going against some defensive plays there. Maryland's also going to try to come out and attack on the defensive end. What's the mentality you want to tell your guys going up against people like Ajax who are really going to push you and get in your face with the stick a lot?
Yeah, it's a great question. This group of men especially, I think most teams I've coached love the concept of being the hunter, the aggressor. This team really gravitates towards that mentality. And that can lead to a lot of man downs and too many penalties. So you try to balance that. Typically in the month of May, it's a little bit of what they call like playoff NHL hockey. You can get away a little bit more, especially later in the game. And so the way we like to be physical and aggressive typically matches up well with games in the month of May. And so we can't stop being who we are. It's really hard to quit your identity. And now, having said that, you saw in the St. Joe's game, we ran people up the backside too much. And we made some we just made some dumb penalties. And so if we have 3 penalties on Saturday of aggression, then we'll live with that. That's good, because that's who we are. And we can't quit who we are.
All right, Coach. Well, thank you so much for giving us some time this morning. I know it's a busy week for you, and just want to say congratulations on advancing to Philadelphia, and good luck on Saturday.
Well, thank you, Nick, and thanks for everyone being here. I know I didn't get to all the questions, but we'll see you guys in Philadelphia. Next stop, Philly.